Good evening, my lovelies. I'm Lady Creepypasta. Welcome. Thank you so much for the warm welcome back yesterday. It really does warm my cold, dead heart that you enjoy this channel and podcast so much, and it makes the effort all worth it. I am going to try and make more frequent uploads in the immediate future to make up for my absence the past couple of weeks, beginning today. I'm glad you enjoyed yesterday's tale by Redditor AlienRouge so much. As such, here is part 2 of the tale. If you missed part 1, a link is in the episode description below. So come now, my dears. Lean in closer, and we'll begin. To whom this body belongs. Congratulations, dude, you're a hero. You also threw one hell of a party last night. Sorry that you weren't able to partake in it, per se, I mean. You were there and all, but I was in the driver's seat. I normally don't stay as long as I did, but our flip cup game was simply on fire. I'm a sucker for the B-52s. Love Shack, anyone? And, well, I'd had a rough few weeks. Can you read this okay? Don't panic if you can't see straight. Could be from the smoke inhalation. Could be adjusting to your new eyeball. A few weeks ago, I would have put in a replacement order and you'd have a perfect match appear in 1 to 2 business days. But I've lost a few benefits since becoming a sole practitioner and have to provide such services myself. It turned out great. Sorry that the color doesn't match your other eye, and that the pupil is permanently dilated in fear. But you'll be fine. It didn't hold David Bowie back. Maybe you should start playing guitar. Anyway, your new eye is fully functional. That's what matters. See Rule 5.01a. All vessels must be returned promptly and in the same condition in which it was prior to possession. In the event of aggravated bodily modification, it is the responsibility of the caretaker to provide any and all replacements necessary to restore the vessel to said original state. And who knows, you might enjoy heterochromia. Chicks dig it. You'll stand out in a good way, because Jesus H., all of you bros looked exactly the same last night. A veritable sea of Hitler youth haircuts in light blue Oxford button-downs. But I digress. I was attending to a matter at your apartment complex last night. It involved some unsavory tenants whom I met at a bar a few weekends ago. Thankfully, the matter was resolved in good time, and now your building has a vacant unit. Tell your friends. On a completely unrelated note, put in a work order for your apartment's garbage chute. It's mysteriously blocked up. Anyways, I was on my way out when I caught sight of some nasty aura seeping out from under someone's door. I swooped in for a quick investigation. The apartment belonged to a sweet old man I've named Rich, who was finally enjoying his golden years. As he snoozed in an armchair, I perused through his past. Irish immigrant, hard-working, beloved husband, father, and now grandfather. Excellent health, of sound body and mind. So where the hell was this aura coming from? I inspected the apartment further. TV turned down low, Downton Abbey. Requisite old-timey mismatched furniture. Cold ashtray near window. Assorted knickknacks atop mantle. Alprazolam in Rich's system. Bowl of hardened jujubes on coffee table. Oh wait, what? Rich was full of alprazolam? He didn't have a prescription. But she did. A personal service worker bearing the name tag Mag emerged from his bathroom. She was wreathed in an oily aura, Picture toxic rainbows floating on a puddle of gasoline. Mag was bad news. She was holding a fistful of steel wool in one hand and a 9-volt battery in the other. This wasn't her first rodeo. I blasted through her immediate future. A dark, grimy narrative whirled by me, Van Gogh style. Billowing black smoke, ambulance sirens, Rich on a gurney, third-degree burns, time of death, 2108. Power of attorney, sole beneficiary, $203,000. Knock on door, arrest warrant, suspicion of first-degree murder, bail denied, all rise, dim courtroom, not guilty. Ugh, I hate impressionist art. I snapped back to the present. A touch of a battery and the steel wool ignited. Suddenly, Mag was the devil incarnate, tossing handfuls of flaming wool onto the carpet, along the drapes, into the kitchen. Note, it's way easier to kill someone using a third party. Likely because of humans' natural aversion to self-harm. Borrowing Rich was out of the question. The man was a 1978 Oldsmobile at best. He would blow a gasket and I'd be violently ejected from the driver's seat, sailing from this dimension to God knows where. Not going to take that chance. And this is where you come in, my friend. I flew out of Rich's apartment and headed for the first sound I heard. The most basic and broiest of country music emanating from your unit. You were hosting a party later that night. I took one look at you in all of your hulking leg day enthusiast glory and remembered why I love my job. You are the dude incarnate, the Cadillac of all vessels, fueled by brewskis, bench press, and the occasional snort of vegan protein powder. I named you Michael Phelps. We were going to be invincible. I did a swan dive into your being and took a few moments to adjust. Angled the metaphorical rear view, silenced the literal Luke Bryan, shifted into gear and floored it. We sprinted back to Rich's apartment and cartoon smashed our way through his door. No Mag in sight. The scene was low-level apocalypse. Flames slowly devoured Rich's furniture, turning endearingly heinous paisley cushions into ember. Insidious smoky fingers curled up the walls and drifted lazily across the ceiling. Various knickknacks watched mournfully from their pyre. A snowman inside his globe, an antique tea set, and a model of an F-105 Thunderbird looking entirely at home amidst the smoke and ash. Still, Rich's apartment was eerily quiet. Where the fuck was the smoke alarm? Rich was still out cold, now spilling over the side of his armchair. We waded over and hoisted him across our shoulder with ease. I pulled the brass pro shop's hat from our head and tossed it into the flames. Our job here was done. Until I detected a hint of poisonous rainbow floating through the smoke. Shit. I thought she'd left. No way was I letting her get away now. We set off through the crumbling apartment and towards a room I hadn't noticed before. A tiny office, it appeared. The handle was slightly less than red hot to the touch. Sorry about your hand, dude. I've upgraded it. Better than ever now. We entered to see Mag hovering in front of a computer, towel wrapped around her nose and mouth, typing furiously. She turned and caught sight of us. Her eyes widened. I could read the thoughts on her face as easily as if I'd looked into her mind. Abort! Abort! She seemed to scream. Ow, my hand! Is what you would be screaming. Just then, a shadow flew through the window and into Mag, and I recognized a former co-worker now occupying her. Ugh, if my old colleague was a human employee, it'd be named Brad, and all the females in the office would steer clear of him. "What the hell are you doing?" I spat. I was answered by Brad, throwing the entire computer at our hulking form. She strode towards us and got in our face. "What are you doing?" Brad snapped back through Mag. "I've got orders. You're wanted and corporate is not happy with you. I have every right to turn you in." With the strength of 1,000 Michael Phelpses, they knocked us flying through the wall and into the main room. We toppled towards the fireplace. Don't worry, I thought to break our crack against the stone mantle with our face. "The fuck are your orders?" I screamed, angrily pushing our skull back into form. Like trying to get dents out of a pop can. I plugged our nose and blew. "Let me tell you, this woman is a real bitch. Oh, let it go. Everything will work out perfectly." Brad douchebagged. "I was sent in to make sure she follows through. See, she kills this man. Rich, that's not his name. Jesus Christ, stop naming them. She'll go through a trial. We add a jump scare, and it'll be enough to straighten her out. We don't need anything more than a level 1 interference here. I'm sick of this reactive corporate bullshit," I roared. "We need to be proactive, for fuck's sake." And with the strength of 2,000 Michael Phelpses, we threw a punch so hard that Brad was expelled from Mag's person entirely. I have to hand it to her. Mag, depossessed, did not miss a beat. She blinked once, then grabbed the closest weapon to her, the Thunderbird F-105, and Olympic javelined it our way. I tell you, that Thunderbird must have had a tiny pilot in it or something, because the missile of a nose landed squarely on our left pupil. 50 points. We pulled it out. Your eye came with it, and made a swipe for the snow globe. Unfortunately, vision impaired, our hand landed on a set of beautiful antique spoons. And then Rich coughed. I had forgotten about him, sprawled peacefully on the ground a few feet away. Thanks to me, we had enhanced lungs, but he did not. I made an executive decision. Rich's life more meaningful than Mag's imminent death. She could wait. We threw Rich over our shoulder and made a swift exit, down the hall into the stairwell and out into the blessedly cool night air. An ambulance was screaming its way through the streets by the time we made it onto the lawn. The fire department was on its way, we were told. Police arrived soon after, and within 30 minutes, Rich's unit was a smoldering, soggy shell of its former self. After a brief investigation, the chief of fire ruled out arson. I tell you, Mag was a pro. The entire incident was reduced to an old man who fell asleep in his armchair with an ashtray laying 3 feet away from him. Eventually, all emergency personnel left the premises. Armed only with a beautiful antique spoon, we set off into the night after Mag. We returned home a couple hours later. Your friends arrived soon after, armed with speakers and booze, and we partied until the early morning. I cleaned up most of the mess for you. It's the least I could do. Richard's spoon is on the kitchen counter for you to return. You might want to bleach it, and if it comes up organically in conversation, tell Rich he should probably never use it again. Anyways, it was a pleasure working with you. Don't lose any sleep over this. We didn't kill Mag. After hearing a little feedback from my last occupancy, thank you, concerned Redditors, I thought it would be best to keep my vessels murder-free. If you do happen to see Mag around the neighborhood, very unlikely, don't be alarmed if something about her looks a little familiar. And don't think we let Mag get off scot-free either. Because of our work, she'll see the world a little differently for the rest of her life. I mean, she is missing an eye. Thank you for joining me, my dears. If you would like to support this channel, do consider becoming a member of our dark family on Patreon. As little as $1 a month really does go a long way to maintaining this channel and podcast. If you are new to my realm, welcome, my lovely. Do remember to subscribe to the podcast before you leave. If you are watching on YouTube, hit subscribe as well as the bell icon to get notifications of new uploads. That's all I have for you this evening, my dears. I promise I'll see you soon.